All right. Good morning. Chat's actually too long. I think I was on the wrong one. Let's use that one. Ouch. Okay. That's fine. Yeah. Looks like I got sound to OBS. Let me check on one more things. Stream. Looks like we're going here. Let's pause that. Let's see. YouTube is good. It's this one too. All right, there we are. Good morning, everybody. My name is Tim. I go by FoamyGuy on GitHub and Discord, as well as Twitch, although on Twitch we're FoamyGuy_Twitch because somebody beat me to it. Picking back up with CircuitPython this morning. Back in Display.io land, although we're going to work on some different stuff, not specifically the GIFs. Although I may try to write out a comment later on. If I don't do it on the stream, then I'll do it later on today, but we'll see how it goes with the stuff I do have planned to work on. Taking a quick step back, though, if you are new to this, if you're catching in the future, if you don't know anything about who I am or what I'm working on, we are largely working on the CircuitPython project, which is a version of Python that runs on tiny computers called microcontrollers. There's a bunch of pictures of those over here. Each of these devices basically has a tiny computer inside of it, and you can plug it into your computer. It shows up like thumb drive. You can edit some code files on there, and then it will run the new code for you as soon as you save it. So that's kind of like the 50,000 foot view of what CircuitPython does. It runs on these devices, and it makes it very easy to write programs for them. And iterate through different variations of programs and things like that. So that's kind of the high level look at what we're doing. More specifically today, I'm messing with stuff related to displays. So this is a microcontroller. It's in a case here, I recognize, I guess, which makes it not super easy to see. Maybe we'll go look at the plain device here. This is a PyPortal device. This is the smaller one, but there's a couple of different sizes. So this one has a built-in display on it, and the display stuff is what I am more specifically focused on today than other types of hardware. But these microcontrollers are very generic, right? General. They can do all sorts of different things. Displays, and what I'll look at today is just one small part of it. So all different capabilities, all different shapes and sizes for these things, and built-in peripherals and all that sort of stuff. Yes, I agree. I am interested, perhaps even a little excited to play with that a bit. Hey, stay here, buddy. Hey. I have a feeling it's going to become important for some other stuff that I also want to work on. I was thinking about taking a stab at today, but I think I'm gonna get benefit out of spending some time trying to wrap my head around ColorConverter. Before I jump right in, let me mention one more thing too. We were just on the website here, Adafruit. Adafruit.com is the website. Adafruit is a hardware and software company based out of New York. They're the ones paying for the folks who work on the CircuitPython project. So there are some folks who work on the project full-time and are paid by Adafruit to do so. There are some folks like me who work on the project part-time and are paid by Adafruit to do that. So one of the ways you can help support the project is just by purchasing hardware from Adafruit over on their website at adafruit.com. They build and manufacture the microcontroller devices, many different microcontroller devices that run CircuitPython. They also manufacture different things that you can plug into your devices and interact with, RGB lights, these glowy noodle lights, proto boards, pretty much anything that is blinky or glowy or fun that you can hook up to a circuit, you can probably buy there and have some fun with. So thanks for the folks who purchase hardware from them. Good morning, C. Grover. So I'm starting today, which I don't think this will take too long, but I'm starting with the core argument validation PR, which we worked on last week for Display.io. There's a bit more feedback here now, which is basically the way that we... The way that what did we do? We were measuring the maximum of something, I think. Let me look here as well. I think this is how we had calculated the maximum somewhere. This. So let's just get a grounding in where we're at here. So we are inside of, well, it's a bit tough to see in this one, isn't it? Let's pull this up in editor. So 1U arrow we can look for. I need to get back over to the branch, this one. Let's see. Sorry, where do we want to be? We want to be in Bitmap C, which is in shared bindings. This one. There it is. Okay, so we are in specifically here the subscript, and then even more specifically than that, we're not doing a delete. We're not doing a slice. We are not doing a single int index, which means we are doing a 2int index, like a tuple. Well, hold on, I don't want this. Wish I could disable that. Can you disable that? Very, very slight rabbit hole, but let's just try, not technically in CLion, but I assume it will be the same. Oh, did I already search for this? Drag and drop, go to editor, Control-Alt-S, editor, drag and drop. Control-Alt-S, editor. General? You know, this thing actually works pretty good usually. Nice. Oh, that is beautiful. I don't know why I waited so long to search for that. Okay, anyway, back to this. But no, we're actually below this. So this has all happened. This would be the block for the two number input, but we're actually past that. So now we're value object equals object sentinel. I don't know what that means. New object. So that's going to return get pixel. Okay, so that's going to get a number out of the bitmap and return it. Else value is, so we are doing a validate range here, and then this is the maximum side of our range, the top side of our range that's valid. Set pixel. Okay, this is get versus set. I'm thinking because this one's returning an int, so that would be the get, and then this one is setting, set pixel. Okay. So then there was, I guess, an issue with this. I don't quite follow which case it doesn't work for. Starting 32-bit bitmaps. Oh, 32-bit bitmaps. Huh. Need to define a special function, return the maximum. Special case. So then this is the new way. uint max arrow 32 minus, And then n in our case is going to be it's going to be all of this, or is it going to be without the -1? Yeah, I think it's without. It's without the -1. Let me see the other comment. Okay, yeah, the value does not include the -1. In this case, value is here, and it's n in our new one. And both the actual function is this one. Sure we didn't mess up the parentheses here. This line's kind of gnarly, huh? Does recommit does some formatting and stuff, right? How's it going, Mark? May drop by later, but have to go look at appliances. Oh, that's usually tends to be for a bad reason. So sorry. Hopefully nothing went too bad, and I definitely wish you the best of luck on that. Some good stuff. Stuff back up and running. It's never a fun time. Formatting. Okay. Did this? Okay. It's still just super long. Doesn't actually make that any better. I guess we could do something like this. Doesn't seem as aggressive about the long lines as black formatting. No, I guess this is actually a bit too tall for me to use. I can't actually see the text input here. It means we have a gap now. We will actually just switch back to this one. Okay, so yeah, I will definitely freely admit this is like kind of black magic to me, basically like mystical. Don't really understand the ancient tombs that are making that do what we want. I mean, this one has a constant with a max in it, which I can wrap my head around, but the way it's like, I guess bit shifting 32 minus this, not sure. I don't exactly follow how that gets us to our maximum. But I can certainly build it and test it. Let's see, we're on the Feather TFT right now. I'm interested to try the, yeah, you can see it in my history here. I made a build of the GIFs support for the PyPortal last night. I'm interested to try that, not PyPortal, but Matrix Portal. I also made a, oh, okay. Oh, goodness. thought my computer just froze again. The mouse locked up on me for a second. Was just thinking really hard about making this build, I guess. Oh man, that scared me. What was I saying? Oh, I want to make I made a 32 by 32 party parrot. I want to load it on the Matrix portal as a GIF. I think Liz probably already did that back when the Matrix portal came out, if I recall right. Tile grids or sprite sheets or something. Do I have the? I don't think I have the camera up right now. So this will help maybe because I don't remember the new IP. Speaking of, there's I think it can't quite focus on something that small. This one is even, I think that one might even be 16 by 16 instead of 32 by 32 because I made that one first accidentally, basically. Just forgot what size it was. I did have this a second ago, but then well, we already made the build, so now we just need bootloader. What? Let it chill for just a second after it boots up as well. Gonna start copying like right away. Trying to ease up on the USB operations a little bit. As far as how quickly we I mean, really, I think the root of it is how quickly it's disconnecting and reconnecting, which in our case, that disconnect reconnect is caused by it restarting, which is caused by either us saving code, or in this case, when we're doing the bootloader, it's restarting after it's done copying the UF2 file. Okay, so this will, this should fail because it doesn't have GIF stuff anymore. Maybe I will see if I can, or what do we have for checks in this one? I called it, yeah, this is all in various different states. This says negative colors. I think I was passing a negative there. It's not actually anymore. So specifically, we want where we are doing a setter. Something like this. I think this one should succeed if I'm tracking correctly. I don't see anything. It's not allowed, yeah. Color doesn't quite come through, but gotta find a camera that's really good at seeing screens. And that has its own lights, ideally. So technically what we changed is the high side, but I think this should print out. Yeah. In our case, it says 0 to 15 because... well, it's because of the way that it tracks the number of bits needed to make this number of colors rather than tracking actually the number of colors. Yeah. That was down on 4, then this one's lower, I think. Yeah. So that should be filtering out any of the big numbers. 15 is allowed, but 16 won't be. What's a... well, he said 32-bit bitmaps. I don't know what that means exactly, 32-bit bitmap. Two-bit bitmaps. What are quote-unquote normal bitmaps? What is just if I created a bitmap with the constructor? 24 maybe? Check the docs too. Okay, 8, 16, or 32. How does this get set? So this says the number of bits in a pixel is 8, 16, or 32. But nothing really says... like, we have 3 choices. Which... how did it... do we set it somehow, or how does it know which of those 3 it ends up as? Is it just because it has a big value count? This might lead into the color converter stuff as well, actually, because I think part of this factors into that. How many colors would you need in order for it to take 32 bits I guess, what's the biggest number you can store with 16 bits? How do you find that out? Is that 2 to the 16th? Probably not, no. But maybe. Yeah, I guess maybe it is. Well, oh, okay, hold on. We can find this out, right? Let's go, because it's like, this is a... Yeah, okay, so we can just go 0B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And it is 2 to the 16th as well, okay. Nice. R1 minus. And then, so if we said this many colors, that work? No, value count must be... But we added that last time, I think. That part did work. Counting 0 as color. I gotcha. That succeeds. This should fail. Or that doesn't fail because of the bits problem again, basically. We've rounded up. We have a bunch of extra space because what we actually stored was the number of bits that it takes to make this number. But that same number of bits probably can make a bigger number. Not actually sure how to, I guess, I mean, we could calculate it by finding out the number of bits and everything. I guess actually the easy way to find it is just go on the low side. It will print it. There we go. Makes sense, I guess. So is this considered a 32-bit bitmap now? Is that what we made? Nice. Okay. Number of bits in a pixel. Is that true, though? Because if you say value count 1, it's only storing 1 bit per pixel, right? Because each pixel is either 0 or 1. So then I guess, does that imply internally that technically we're spending 6 bits per pixel that aren't getting used for anything in this case? Or maybe is this potentially older behavior? Maybe at some point it used to use those 3 buckets specifically rather than just finding out how many bits are needed to store the value count given and then using that as the number of bits. Oh, this says if the number of bits. Oh. If the number of bits in a pixel is 8, 16, or 32, and the number of bytes per row is a multiple of 4, then the resulting memory view will correspond directly with the bitmap's contents. Interesting. Okay. Okay. I think I'm caught up on that. That's basically like if you align everything correctly, then the memory is like literally the bitmap. So if you modify the memory, you'll be modifying the bitmap. But if it doesn't line up correctly, then obviously like you can't be sure about how to modify the memory to get the output you want. Okay. So that seems to behave correctly. This is still like a bit mystical to me, but it does seem to work. Recommit. Good. And do the socket pull thing. I don't know why that's in my changes. Need the extra line. Should we get rid of the extra line? We didn't used to have 2 lines, or we didn't used to have an empty line, I should say. Yeah. Let me run pre-commit again just to make sure. Change maximum. Computation. I don't think I'm going to do it, but I'm a little bit curious to go back and try this way and see if we can figure out which case it fails in and how it fails. That's the other part of this I don't quite get. I mean, the thing is, like, this one is also mystical to me. I don't quite understand why or how this one's working either. I think I maybe gained a bit better understanding next time when we looked at this. If I recall right, we were trying to figure out bit shifting, and I think I had it making sense in my head for a moment there while we were doing it, but it's not a thing that has stuck with me. Now, color converter. So one of the things that I think I would like to do probably I think we should have a color converter section in here. I was like thinking about color converter last night and this morning, thinking about experiments to try to understand what it does and how it works. And I was looking back through this Display.io guide, support guide. This is kind of like the primary source of knowledge about Display.io, essentially. And it's not covered in here at all, color converter. So I think that's probably part of the reason why I don't really know concretely what it is or how it works. What is in the Bitmap and palette page, it has this nice diagram which explains Bitmap and palette, and this is an excellent diagram. This is like makes it super clear how Bitmap and palette work together to produce a visible grid of rectangles, or a visible grid of pixels that are different colors, I should say. But if I understand right, this middle section here, this can be a color converter instead of a palette. If I understand right. And there's not a similar, like, visual or any kind of information that explains, like, what are the differences between them? When would you use one over the other? What are the kind of, like, pros and cons of each? And technical differences and things like that. So I think that's an opportunity. If it is true that color converter can be used in the middle of this here instead of palette, I think we should try to add a section here, like bitmap plus color converter, come up with a good graphic like this one that, like, because this makes it super easy to understand palette. So if we can encompass color converter in a similar, easy to understand thing, I think that will help a lot. Myself for sure, but probably other people too. So converts one color format to another. The input color space is 888, which is, I believe, just normal kind of standard color that I'm used to, like hexes. Let's see here, hold on. Let's double check that though. Let's like try to validate some of this assumptions just to make sure. 888 is 24 bits, not 8. Okay, this is talking about A though, which I assume is alpha. Is there a Wikipedia for RGB 888? Let's just say RGBA. Because A and 8 rhyme. Okay, RGB 888. There is one. Okay. RGBA byte order is used. Yeah, but that's just talking about A at the beginning versus A at the end. Doesn't actually explain the basics, but my understanding is the 888 means 8 bits per color channel. So you have 8 bits to represent red, 8 bits to represent green, 8 bits to represent blue. Those 8 bits get you 0 to 255. which aligns with our tuples. When we have tuple colors, you can go 0 to 255 in each of those channels, and then I believe that also aligns with hex, right? Isn't this also 255? Yeah, okay, so 888 is what I think of as just normal color, right? That's just default in my brain. So this is letting you go from that to a different, well, to always the same, actually. It doesn't let you specify. You get to specify the input, but not the output. The output always is 565. And so my understanding of that is basically the similar idea, but instead of 8 bits for each, it's actually 5 bits for red, 6 bits for green, which is weird since they're not equal, but then 5 bits for blue. Which means you can't quite make it to... You don't have as many colors. And so you would have 0 to 31 for red and blue. Zero to 63 for green. Okay, let's start also validating some of this understanding too. I think we don't need this. .565 fits into 2 memory bytes because it's, yeah, 16 total. Whoa. Okay. We don't actually need to do anything yet on that. So well, I think this is default, but just to be like... Color space is one word. How does it return, though? Color must be int, not tuple. That one doesn't do the tuples, I guess. But we have done tuple to int converters somewhere. 888 occupies 24, yeah. And 16 only for 565, so it's smaller in there. We can't actually do a tuple like this. So this, it has a bunch of leading zeros. This is actually, technically, this is actually like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna put a space just to make it easier to see. But the leading zeros don't matter. Okay. So color converter always will take it from your input and go to 565. And then it has make transparent. Which is wanting a color. So let's say we make transparent red. Those are the first three, and then we are getting 0 because we did make transparent red. If we didn't do that, then we would get actual red. So basically, when you have a transparent color, you get back 0 for it instead of whatever the translated color is, whatever the converted color is. And then make opaque obviously is like the opposite, we would assume, right? So if we put make opaque here and then did the same thing after, you get the real outputs, not the zeros. Let's just validate that. Yeah. Okay. And you can only have one transparent, which I find kind of odd. So like if we try to make another one, raises an exception. Only one color can be transparent at a time, whereas palette does not have that, I don't think. Some displays use 565 for storing colors, like the ST7789. J82 in there. How's it going, Axel? We are... I took a look at the core argument validation PR that we worked on last week. We followed up on some feedback there, and then now I am basically just trying to experiment with ColorConverter to wrap my head around what it is and what it does and how it compares to palette or not. Which will, I think, lead to some playing around with different types of bitmaps as well here pretty shortly. You don't really need 10 colors. I will take 4 though. Yeah, thank you. Four different colors. I think this just prints like thing particularly helpful if I recall right. Yeah, just palette like this. So this one wants indexes, not colors. So we go 0, and we could go 1 as well. That's fine. Yeah. Or is it? No, 20. Yeah. Let's turn this one back off so that it doesn't actually crash either. Yeah. So that's one difference. Palette can have multiple transparents and ColorConverter cannot. Which I do find kind of odd. Oh, right. Since it only allows one color, technically this argument doesn't do anything, right? You give it a color, but it doesn't matter because it's just going to make the one color that is transparent no longer transparent without regard for what that color is and without regard for whatever you passed in. Interesting. Maybe there's an opportunity to update ColorConverter to allow multiple transparencies. I wonder if there's a specific reason why it doesn't have that capability beyond just the fact that it's more effort to make it do that and more code. Like, if it's too much code, then it may not be worth it, but it is interesting that Palette does allow it. So, okay, let's start digging into the differences between CC and Palette. So let's go CC bitmap equals a bitmap, which does ColorConverter just strip least significant bits when converting from 8 to 5 bits unless dithering is true? I don't know. I do not know for sure the answer to that. I am still interested in figuring out dithering. I guess let's try that before we get into this, maybe. But yeah, I don't understand dithering, really, in this context. Dithers the output by adding random noise when truncating to display bit depth. Let's turn off the transparent ones. Let's turn off this one for now. Let's turn off this one. So only thing we're printing is our palette and then our convert of red. And we got full red with that. Dither. Oh. We got a different amount of zeros. But these stayed the same? Maybe we should, well, so it says random though. Should we, because we're calling it 3 times, are we getting 3 rolls of the dice, so to speak? Should we only call this once? Okay. This time I did get... Yeah. You get different colors. I want to be able to visualize that. Yeah, I want to get to bitmap. Because I don't understand why you would want random colors out of your thing, but I guess it's random colors that are similar to the real one, I guess. So if you wanted to fill a thing with it, it would give it some like texture. Is that? 888 to 565. Yeah, so I think this is what, I mean, this is probably the math, I guess, behind it rather, but this I think is what the color converter is doing for us when we call convert. Okay, so firstly, let's just see, can you actually, let's make sure my understanding is right where you, so like, I think you can have a color converter instead of a palette. Just go 100, 100. I don't know, how many colors would you say though if you were gonna use a color converter? Should we just give it like that max that we had before? Oh, I got rid of it. Was the 3.2? Something? Three, 2, 7, 6, 7. Okay, we created it. We haven't done anything with it yet, but it does exist. Dithering produces a small amount of red occasionally when the 888 value for red is 0x07 or less. Small amount of red occasionally? I'm not sure. I don't quite understand I don't understand really the question, and I don't know enough about the thing to be able to probably answer it even if I understood it truthfully. Hopefully, though, with some experimentation, we'll be getting to the bottom of all of that and more. I'm going to make a main group. There's a group there. We're going to make a CC tile grid rather than just black. But it should it? I don't know, I need to play with the bounds colors some more, I guess. Does it give you black if that's false, basically? So if you have too dark of a red or whatever color and you pass it in without dithering, does it give you back black? Not sure. Tile grid, that's gonna be the, I think everything else maybe could stay the same. Or do we, well, we would want pixel shader, obviously, right? Pixel shader, and that's our CC. Is this even valid? Let's, oh. Maybe I'm wrong and this is not actually allowed. We haven't actually painted or done anything. We're not expecting to see anything at this point, but yeah, it doesn't crash. So this is where, you know, ordinarily, well, I'm saying ordinarily just because it's my experience, I guess, but in my understanding, in my prior understanding, here you would put a palette. This is this palette right here, basically. Getting combined together with this bitmap. Essentially, this, you know, visual equation right here is how I think of the tile grid, or one of the ways I think of the tile grid, I guess. If we get to the next page, you'll see a different way that you can think of the tile grid as well. But this one is kind of like a zoomed in one. The tile grid takes these two inputs, the bitmap and the palette, and then creates a thing that can be drawn on the screen representing that pixels. But you can use a color converter in place of palette, which feels really weird to me because they don't really do the same thing, right? A palette is a list of colors. A color converter is kind of like just a function, right? Just a static function that converts from one color space to another. Like, they just do different things. Let's play with it a bit though. So we have 100 by 100 So then if we have this color converter, does that mean that we can just go like cc_bitmap.fill and then just give it a color? So because like ordinarily you would give it an index here, like 0 or 1 or whatever, and that index would match a color inside your palette, just like this one has got red on 0 there. But do we get to give it a color? We do it this way? No. What did we do wrong? Oh, value, it's too big. What is that number? That's too much red. We need, what's the maximum red inside 565, I guess? Do we need to give it the, well, we could go invert it? We got blue. Probably that's just the order or whatever, right? Doesn't have one. An object with RGB 888 value. I wanna trace this one a minute first. But I will try that out here in a little bit. Why do we have blue? I mean, it's just swapped, I guess. No, it's definitely not just swapped. Now we have like dark yellow. I don't get what this is doing. Hold on, let's put that back to off. Not drawing anything. Yeah, I'm lost. I don't have any idea what it's doing. I mean, the vast majority of things we input just don't show anything. But when I fed a color back through this, it showed something. Or did that only work because of dither? No, something else is broken. What did I change? What did I break? Something I broke. Why don't we get blue? We not get... What was the code that I ran before? Add the import by itself? We had the import from before? No? This is a new thing. So this can take a color converter too. This is another place where I'll say ordinarily I would use a palette. I could just leave those 0. Yeah. Those are transparent. Okay. Back to confused again. We should have a red rectangle? Am I missing something? We should have a red rectangle, right? I mean, the red screen, I guess, basically. Hmm. I don't know. Okay. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, I'm sorry. What? Does palette live? Does palette live through the reset? I'm so confused. I think it was just broken for a minute. Man, I would love to understand why we just seemingly were not updating the screen for a while there. That time we get nothing. I don't know. Yeah, it must have been somehow we fluked into the display not updating right or something. Okay. Yeah, my brain wants to be able to repeat that, but it doesn't look like we're gonna get it, so I'll try to move on. Isn't ColorConverter designed to load images in different formats? It's mentioned with the function in undis bitmap. So I will say, like, part of what I'm trying to do today is understand what converter is for. So I can't really answer if it is designed to do that, or I don't quite understand what it's designed to do. I mean, I get that it's converting the 888s to the 565s, or really I should say I get that it's converting any other color space to the 565s. So I can understand that part of it, but I don't know what it was designed to do, or exactly. I still don't have a clear picture of how it fits in. Like, we get back to this, like, this is beautiful. This makes 100% perfect sense to me. Bitmap, palette, end result, and then like these two bring it, like the whole equation is the tile grid in this case. Tile grid is bringing these two together and resulting in this. But I don't have a clear mental picture of how ColorConverter replaces palette in this equation. And that holds the key to, I think, the answer to that question about if it's designed, like what it's designed for. Yeah, I don't know. I see that it says that in undis bitmap, but I don't know what that means. And to to, I guess, make it more confusing for me is they throw in another term there, right? Like, where did pixel shader come from? What is pixel shader? How does pixel shader differ from palette and color converter? Truthfully, the way that it's explained there doesn't, it makes like I am more confused by those explanations than less, rather. Like, I don't really know, because now we have a third. Now we have a third glossary term that kind of seems to be fitting in the same place as pixel, rather as palette and color converter. So pixel shader, maybe pixel shader is a term that can mean either palette or color converter. Is this like the superclass, so to speak, of these two? Imagine bitmap with actual RGB values in it, and color converter changes them the RGB values the display needs. Pixel shader, I believe, is a word for either palette. Okay. Not sure if it's a good word for it. Okay, so it is kind of like that, like super class. It's like the parent concept. These two things are a pixel shader. Palette and color converter are pixel shaders. Pixel shader is a more general concept that maps pixels to their colors. One way that it could do it is with a palette. One way that it could do it is with a color converter. But then in the case that it's doing it with a color converter, so that brings me back around to where I was here. In the case that we're doing it with the color converter, what, like functionally speaking, how does that work? So this is where I was trying to get when I got off on the background not drawing tangent, but the background is drawing now, so I'm gonna plow ahead for a minute. So we have our bitmap, we add it to here. The blue's back. Okay, the blue though, probably the reason why we didn't see a bunch of those things that I tried was because the display was broken in that fluke mode or whatever. Okay, yeah. Because I tried a bunch of other things. So, do we get... Because this was the first thing I tried. No, this is that ugly yellow. So when you use a bitmap with a color converter instead of a palette, how do you put stuff in it? How do I predictably paint a color? Like, how do I say fill it with red? Which is what I was trying to do, I guess, right? Like, my first attempt for fill it with red was this. That doesn't work because the number's too high. Maybe we broke that, though. Did this used to work? Maybe I broke this with my... Because the arg validation, right? Like, we did add... But our maxes were not... Most of our maxes were 32 something. Let me check if this used to work. No. I always get tricked in search feather TFT, and I don't think it comes up with that, but TFT by itself does. Bitmaps only support palettes or RGB values of 8, 16, or 32. And some modes less than 8 bits, like black and white for ink. Okay. I want to try the installer one of these days as well. Does it let you choose your version? Let's not try it right now. I don't want to. I do want to, as much as I can, be testing one thing at a time, hopefully. Let's just go 733. Old version still has an error, but the error is not as helpful. Definitely did not. It's not that our argument validation broke it. It's the camera. Wait a minute. Why is it green? Is it really just green on the other version? Blue on this one? Okay, that's interesting. Somehow the color of that changed between 733 and 8. Whatever I just downloaded, 802. Bitmaps only support palettes or RGB value. Oh yeah, that was old. E.g. bitmap 65535 means each pixel has 16 bits. Not a huge fan of that API myself, which leads to the issues checked for 32 bits and overflowing ints. But you could, it's broke, it won't work, do big number, make a bitmap with each pixel have 32 bits. So did we break 32? Did we break 32-bit bitmaps by having? Because it no longer lets you do that big number, but the docs do say that. This implies that 32 bits could be valid, but you can't actually create one like that. But maybe did you used to be able to? So maybe that's back to, did I break it with the argument validation? But even aside from all of that, I still am, I don't get how this is supposed to work with ColorConverter. When you use ColorConverter instead of palette, what do you set into it? How do you tell it which colors you want it to use, basically? Like, ColorConverter's output is hard-coded for 565. Yeah, I did see that. ColorConverter then lets you take that pixel, change it to 565 for display. But like, I still don't see. Wait. Hold on. What? Did it go? Oh my gosh, I'm like, hold on. What? We're back to 8. It stayed green. It was green the first time it spawned. Okay, I'll try that here in a minute. Okay. First time it spawns, it's blue. We're on 733 now. I didn't mean to show this one. I need to close some tabs. We're not on 733. I just rebooted it. Okay, I don't even know. I don't even know. How... Did I put dither back to true? Please tell me I put dither back to true. Please tell me dither's not false. Oh, I don't even want to know. Okay. Oh, my brain. My brain. I don't like it. Well, how can it be different? It can't be different, right? Why can it be different on different executions? That doesn't make sense, right? Is it just me, or that doesn't make any sense, right? Because it's static. It should always be the same input, same output. Especially, like, if this was true, which I still want to look into that. I think Seagrover or somebody suggested to look for something into that, and I do still want to do that and visualize it as well, because I want to see what that's doing. But with this false, you should always get the same color out if you put the same color in. Does anybody know of a reason why that's a false? Why that would be a false assumption? Seems like it should be safe to me. They're different. Sometimes the zeros are gone. Cosmic rays. So, okay, I'll be back in a minute. I gotta run to the restroom. Okay. Yeah, okay. Let's go. Let's back this all the way off. None of this. Only this. We got way fewer, but we did still get 2. Seems random though, because now we got more. And so when it does it, it is cutting off all but 3 of these. So it's cutting off 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's cutting off 8 of those. Yeah. Thank you for the confirmation. I'm yeah. It feels almost like dither is on, maybe? I still want to go back and visualize what dither is supposed to do, because I'm not sure, still not sure I have the right mental picture of what dither is supposed to do. But it almost feels like maybe dither became true somehow, or stayed true. And it wasn't supposed to. Maybe. Well, we get basically the same kind of output with dither true, but it was also dither. Did you say earlier dither is going to affect the ones close to black more so? It's always the same values. It's always the exact same 2. Let's do a different color. This time it more frequently cut the zeros, but then on the changed ones it added the zeros back. It's backwards kind of in terms of, on this one the more rare one had fewer zeros, but on this one the more rare one has more zeros. We need some, like, is there an X-Files GIF in here? Scully's face encompasses my feeling right now in this instance. We're gonna go to a different port. We're going to use a totally different device. We're going to try to rule out some stuff and try to see if this is actually a bug or what's going on here. I want to put a question mark in the file name, but I don't think that's a good idea. It probably just doesn't work. I have a Raspberry Pi RP2040 here with a bunch of wires, which was for the other thing that I had in mind to work on today, which will remain a mystery for now, but it will be coming soon. Sturdy build. Let's get a stock build. I guess we should probably go back to 733 also. What color are you trying to start? What color am I trying to start? I'm not sure what you mean. The color that I inputted was, well, I've changed it to a few different ones at this point, but the very first one I did was red. Well, was, FF followed by 4 zeros. I tried 4 zeros followed by FF as well, and I have now 00 FF 00. I don't remember if I ran that one or not. So I think maybe, can this one do the double click reset? I feel like some of the RP2040s do the double click reset sometimes, but I've tried that a bunch of times and I failed. But I'm pretty sure this one does do the boot select. Maybe it needs a different thing loaded in order to do the double tap one. See, that one went. Other RP2040-8002. What? Why is there no current UF2, but also why can I not paste into here? Should I sudo? That seems like a bad idea, right? That's weird. What are you trying to get? I'm running KB2040 latest build. Yeah, okay. That's the same thing that we got. Well, no. It's not quite actually the same thing, is it? We got, when I was doing what I'm going to call red, because again, the standard colors I think of are hex 888. Oh, yeah, it was. It was. Okay. Yeah, that was the same thing. Okay. So then theoretically we should be expecting the same thing on this device, which is RP2040 also. There's a hint at the thing this was used for. Oh, okay, yeah, we have a different color, but we do still get the differences. Yeah. I kind of want to use it as a random number generator and make a game based on it, right? Because it hits like, we only got 1 this time out of 100. But sometimes it's more. Like there's 2, 3, 4, 5. Got 5 out of 100. You could just make like a game where this is your source of randomness. Be fun. In a weird way. Okay, so RP2040 does do the same thing. I'm going to go to 733. To the C code. Whee! Yeah. Yeah, it is super weird. I'm glad that I'm doing this today. I am really like 0% closer to understanding in a practical sense how color converter gets used with a bitmap. Truthfully, I don't think I'm any closer to understanding that, but finding this, I think, makes it worthwhile as well. This is a peculiar, I assume, bug. Could be wrong, maybe this is expected, but it certainly feels like a bug. Uh-oh. That's 2 runs on 733. That is 3 runs on 733 with none different. Uh-oh. Doesn't happen. Hasn't. Let's say it hasn't happened. Q-code? If you want, we can find time to have a voice chat about it. Maybe easier to talk through one day. Bitmap color converter. Yeah, I'm down for that. Lay down for that. I do still need to try. I think you gave me a color to try, so I will go back and try that at one point as well. Yeah, I don't, when you use it, yeah, anyway, let's focus on this bug for now. But yes, I will definitely take you up on that if you're up for that. So what is the most useful thing to test next? Yeah, I was gonna say most likely the code inside of it specifically didn't change, so it's like some weird wrinkle of the rest of the system. Do we want to... Okay, shared bindings did? Was it... did I touch shared bindings? I don't think I did do for color converter. I did palette and bitmap so far. Do we want to test different ports? Or do we want to start trying to bisect the versions to find the one where it changes? Gotta actually change the code on the device if you want it to do something different. I guess if shared bindings changed, then we at least have a starting point, because that's the most likely commit, certainly. That's so weird that it would be just different, though, right? Like, I would expect always consistency, at least. It's still pretty close to instant. I think I'll do one more port after this. I have a PyPortal right here, so I'll check Atmel SAMD port 51. And if it's doing the same thing, then I'll probably just go back to the Feather TFT and start trying different versions. Maybe we can do the one from before the commit where it changed. We changed new object construction. Is my logic wrong for this histogram? Or does printing influence it? Maybe printing influences it. Let's see if that's the case. Printing seems to influence it. So it's like time. It's a time thing somewhere. Why does time gotta be like this? Yeah, I mean, I agree. But, unfortunately, there's our spread. 43 out of 11,000. What's that percentage? 434 over 11. Almost 4%. It's so slow this way, though, too, honestly. I want to cut punch out. I don't know. Printing seems to, like, I ran it several times in a row without any different results. And then as soon as I put the print back in, I feel like there doesn't print, and we got all 1,000 were the same. Always the same. That back and then they come back. Oh boy. All right, I have a Pi portal right here, so let's test it on that port. Fuzzies off of the screen. A little close for the Pi portal, but we're probably going back to the feather shortly here anyway. Oh my, it is much slower. I also have no idea what version we're on. It is like insanely slower. That's crazy. Color converters seem slow in my testing, but I mean compared to the other device. Like this exact code on the RP2040 versus this exact code on the ESP32S2 versus this exact code on this device. This one is like noticeably several times slower. Like that 1000 was like, I mean, it took maybe 2 or 3 seconds on the other device, whereas this was like, I didn't time it, but it felt a lot closer to like 20 or 30. Area that could be improved. Would that improve like when you're using palettes too, or would that only affect when you are using the color converter? This one's on a beta 6.30 build. Nope, wrong one. Only color converter. Okay, didn't test palettes yet. So the good news is it seems like so far SAMD51 doesn't have the same problem. I don't know that I want to wait through this whole list too many more times, but so maybe what I'll do is I'll come back to the Pi portal to do the rest of my color converter bitmap experimenting, because I would presume this is the correct behavior. I would assume the other behavior where they are giving us different outputs is not correct. So hopefully there is some bug that can be fixed that will make the behavior correct on those other devices. And then the knowledge that we learn from experimenting on the PyPortal will then start carrying over. Let's do it without the prints on this one. So this, I mean, without the prints, it was basically instant on the other devices. Huh. Oh, right. I didn't actually change the code. Did that whole thing where I edited the file on my computer, not this one. As soon as I opened this, it relaunched. So I just saw some people talking about this in the CircuitPython dev channel yesterday. I'm wondering if the solution they put in there might actually work for me to stop it from resetting sometimes when I open a file or something. This one's pretty quick. Honestly, it's pretty much instant. I don't think it's any faster or slower. I mean, I don't think this one's any slower. So I guess the thing is the SAMD is slower at printing than the RP2040 or the Feather S2. Because that speed seems pretty much the same. I mean, we'd have to run profiling or something to get real numbers, but anecdotally, feeling-wise, it feels the same when the prints are gone. We do get the same number every time, so that's good. Could be a timing issue. Try a quick sleep after each conversion. Oh, instead of a print? That's a good idea. Yeah, we can do that. One out of 1,000. And it was indexes 0 and 1. That's interesting, huh? This one got 2. So this is the Feather S2, and it actually does fail sometimes without the prints, but the failure rate is really low, right? 4 out of 1,000, which is like 0.04% rather than 4%. Or 0.4, not O. There's 10. We've been up there a bit. Are those swapped? Yeah, those are swapped. Okay. This one got 51 actually, so it's creeping up there a bit. So maybe we should use the RP2040 then. Because it seemed consistently prints fail, non-prints succeed. Whereas this non-prints actually do fail some as well. Sometimes we get a good run though. And the failure rate's really low. Let's see if the failure rate goes up, first of all, with prints. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is gonna be like 50-50. Also, this is slower again. Still way faster than the PyPortal though. Yeah, that's like almost 50-50. That's crazy. $60-40. So instead of print, 90-10. We're looking like pretty close to 90-10 most runs. That was a pretty good one, though. Only 24 failures. Only 14 failures. 8, so let's creep that up a bit. Creep it up too much. 73. It's about the same. Always 0 and 1. Right? Yeah, it was always 0. Oh no, that was 0 and 16. Okay. Okay, never mind. They're all powers of 2? 16, 2, 1, 16. I thought I saw a 32 somewhere. Get scrolled off, maybe. Oh, there's a 3 and a 50, though. Those were back from other sleeps, but... So that feels pretty much the same as 001. 10 times as much sleep did not really seem to influence it that much. Sleep versus no sleep does seem to influence it. I feel like with sleep, we were slightly... Like we, on average, had a few more failures than with no sleep at all. Because with no sleep at all, we were hovering down around like 3, 4, 2, like single-digit errors, and we're into more frequently double-digit, up to about 100-ish, about 10%. Sometimes we have good runs, like that one we had only 4. Sometimes we have bad runs, we had 116. But with no sleep at all, we tend to have good runs every time. Oh, there's a 63, though. 14, 1, 2, yeah. Oh, okay, no, those are swapped. Those are swapped. 16 is the 23. Yeah, with no sleep at all, we don't really get towards 100 that much. And we seem way more likely to be in the single digits. And then we got a full good run right there. Okay. So sleep does make it worse. Which then also kind of helps paint the same picture of Prince making it worse. Like it's not the sleep that's making it worse, it's the time that has been the time that has passed. It seems like conversion between 888 and 565. Yeah. In 10,000 runs, got 4 wrong without printing, except if it doesn't match. Could be a timing issue. Okay, yeah, that's back before. Printf debugging the core now. The incorrect value is being returned from ColorConverter convert. Fix the chat here. I widened it a bit. I can't see it when we do that. Okay, behind the curtain. Behind the curtain a bit. Okay. I think we have enough to file an issue at least, right? Because, like, real correct behavior, so far, the only one that has it is the PyPortal of the 3 that I've tested, which is that you should always get the same number back. So far, the Feather S2 and the RP2040 sometimes get the other number back. And then you can influence how often you get the other number back based on the timing of that stuff occurring, either adding sleeps to slow it down or adding prints to slow it down. I would assume you could probably add like you could probably do something like this to slow it down as well, I assume. Ooh, might have gone too big. Might have gone too big. Oh yeah, I went way too big. We're only up to 41 index. Put that down. Try yourself input. Int versus uint in the core. Not sure. I don't quite understand, I guess, what you mean, Peter Bay. Seems like conversion. I mean, I think it's supposed to convert between those two. Are you saying that it doesn't do that correctly? And if so, do you mean like consistently every time you give it? Or do you mean like kind of what we're seeing here where it's like most of the time it gets it right, but then sometimes it doesn't? We did get 54 with that. Six. But yeah, you can totally seem to be like consistently around the 30, 40s right now. So the amount of, and I would assume this is like faster probably sleep. It's making it not spend as much time. But we can definitely influence it as compared to the baseline of no waiting at all. No waiting at all seems to be the most accurate. The fewest number of aberrational results. I guess we could. Let's try to. Should we try to find a build first? I want to document this. I want to get it into an issue so I don't like get too far removed from it. You see something? Color space, reverse bytes inward. If not 0, you swap the bytes. If it's not 0, you swap the bytes. Not sure if it means anything, but all the runs set to 145, but when it's wrong, it's set to 0. 3 different values due to enabled dithering. So I believe dithering should be not currently enabled. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It is enabled. Okay, we definitely did test it with it false before and it was doing it, but yeah, I totally thought we had it false still. Not actually the case. Great. Okay. Super, super rare. Get several full good runs, but we did eventually get one. Seems like about the same failure rate, actually. Yes. This is the one with no sleeps or no prints, which always was the most likely to run correctly. One failure finally. Pretty good. Good though. So and then oh man. I did not realize I left that on true. We seem to get a successful run now with the sleep though. Sure, you don't swap the bytes, which is what we were seeing. Okay, maybe let's just axe the sleep. I think let's just axe the sleep. The print seems pretty clear cut. This is the RP2040. Got it, you think? Color space depth. Which is random based on what memory structure is placed in, so you won't initialize it to 0 for you. Oh, I'm skipped a couple, sorry, let's see here. Where you don't swap. Shared bindings, color converter C. Six. Color space. Color space depth is set to 16. That's cool, but the structure isn't initialized. And later we use color space reverse bytes in Word, which is random based on what memory structure is placed in. Won't initialize it. Reverse bytes in Word true to like right here. Like that. Okay. Thank you for jumping into that, by the way. Probably would not have gotten to that anywhere near as quick as you. Or really understood the core reason it was happening, but the way you mention it up there, it actually does kind of make sense to me. I get, it's like, didn't initialize it, so you kind of get luck of the draw based on where you happen to spawn in memory and what used to be there. Yeah, I'm wondering, is there like a, could this do like a create color space or something? Is there like a constructor or something we could call that would initialize all of its properties. I'm going to call them properties. I don't know if that's technically what they are. Okay, try this in a minute. I do want to post this here just so everything is all documented somewhere. Differing, I don't know. Here we go. Zero errors now. Nice. Oh, why does it not show up with you? Oh, there you are. I don't like the way that you can't have a preview of your full thing. All these different fields are kind of cool, the way it's like this here, this here, this here. But I wish there was just like one high level preview, see my entire post thing. But there's not so much really. Even like, well, each one I guess is, but some of these, like this one doesn't even have it. I don't know. I don't know how it knows which is what. Better yet, the color space should be a constant. It's used on every call. Set color space 0 size of. Oh, to blank it out, I see, as like initializing basically, or I'm calling it initializing. Really, I suppose what it is like emptying out everything that was there. I guess it's kind of initializing, subtly different in some ways, but. So somehow it's just more likely to have already been 0 on the PyPortal, and then in the cases where we don't have the prints make it more likely to like put something in that RAM, I guess. Color space should be a constant. I don't know exactly how that. I don't really know how that works in C to make constants exactly. I think I follow what you mean with, so like instead of this one, you could do memset color space 0 size of this. So that would put zeros in memory starting here, this many zeros, which is however big this is. Add it to ColorConverter construct. So it allowed it easier change in the future to convert arbitrary color spaces. I'm down with that. I still don't, like, in terms of the nuts and bolts of how do you do that, I guess that part I'm still not. That just mean like make it exist in here? So like this is a constant, I guess. Put it in ColorConverter T structure. Yeah, I don't know. This thing? No, that's not T. Oh, it is. Put it in there as what? I don't put it in there as reverse bytes in Word, you mean? Put that in there? The whole structure. Input color space just stored the output color space. I'm not following, sorry. Honestly, a lot of it is like I don't understand C enough to know what these different parts, like, not sure which parts you're referring to or how you're referring to change them exactly, basically. It's definitely just me not understanding the nuts and bolts of C that much. Let's try this one. I would say too, though, if you can, put your thoughts in a comment here. That would definitely be good. As far as like different possible solutions and which one makes the most sense for future, I won't say like future proofing, but like future enhancing or whatever. Like if there's one that's going to make it easier to add more functionality, like you were saying, then I'm definitely on board with whatever that one is, but I don't quite get it's like specifically functionally what changes in the code that's going to mean or how that works or what it looks like exactly. Copy that. Yeah, I'm still like very, very rudimentary understanding of everything inside the C. I know enough to kind of poke around and sometimes cause stuff to change behavior. It's kind of about the level I'm at, not necessarily understanding what I'm doing all the time. Getting better and better as time goes on, but one looks like no prints, and we are getting 1,000 in a row good. Make it the lucky 1100, right? Instead of the 1,000, and then let's turn the prints on. Nice. Yeah, that's definitely doing it. Commented it out on line 77. Oh, but I put the mem set. I did this one. Or do you need both of those? Oh, you do still need both, I see. Oh, interesting. I didn't get any failures, though. Let it run again. Maybe I got lucky. That zeroes it out. True, we'll set it to 1. Are we getting the wrong number every time? Are we supposed to be getting the other one, I guess? This would need to be after also, right? We would want to clear it and then set the... I see. Okay. Well, consistently wrong, I would say, is slightly better than inconsistent, but still definitely not what we want. Let's copy that one. Yeah, I should have been paying closer attention to which numbers are which. So I don't know which one is the correct one. There we go. Nice. Okay. It fails because this number is too big. This was way forever ago. Not quite that forever ago. Okay. I thought I remembered something differently up here. I guess I must have misread it when it came through the first time because I'm not finding what I was thinking. Okay. So what are we on dither or no? We want to be on no dither for now. Dither false. Okay. We can get rid of this. This was the beginning of our extraterrestrial journey, let's say. So yeah, okay, yeah, back to, so that solves our mystery of sometimes we get green and sometimes we get blue. But how do we get red? How do I know what color this is setting it to? And how do I, like, influence it? That's green. Okay. So is it just backwards? Maybe what I saw before that confused me was actually partially the thing we just fixed. So if this is red, then I think I'm back around to understanding. And that would be super cool. Now I have clicked the wrong browser. So we have suspense. No, that's not red. That's that ugly yellow again. So FF at the beginning gives me blue, which makes me think, you know, BGR. FF in the middle gives me green, which allows me to continue believing BGR. We have one line of nonsense in this one. I think that does kind of sometimes just happen. Yeah, like I refresh and it's not there anymore. So first two digits seem like blue, next two digits seem like green. Last two digits, ugly yellow. I shouldn't call it ugly, just dark-ish yellow that's like almost blacky brown, green. I'll spare you the term that actually first comes to mind when I see it. But yeah, weird yellow, let's call it, not red. It's converting it to 565 little endian, I think by default. Your bitmap bits look wrong. I have this, which is the highest number you can put there without raising an exception. Yeah. No, it won't let you. I mean, that could be, though, that I broke it with the validation. I guess that's possible, because I'm pretty sure I've added validation that did this. But actually, I'm pretty sure we tried the old CircuitPython and it still didn't work. So I don't think I did break that. I changed the error. This now prints an actual range that's an error, but I'm pretty sure this did not work under 733 either. Like fails on the same line, just raises a different error. It's less specific. But let's double check too, because I've seen a lot of stuff today. Not a lot of it made so much sense to me, so. Interesting. So then probably our validation is bad. We probably don't want the current validation that's in there because we made a thing that used to be possible no longer. Ah, yeah. Okay. Still don't follow the color we got though. Green. Blue. Dark yellow, gray, green, brown. Still don't see where our red went. Does this need to be one more? That's actually like dark blue. Okay, that's dark blue also. So we, back to this version, we have the sometimes one color, sometimes the other color, maybe, I don't know. I don't really know. But the crux of the issue is I still don't get how this works. I don't get, like, if I want to paint red in here, I still don't understand how. But I think that that's going to be a thing to look into later, because I think I need to get up and stretch out and move around some. Do some other stuff for a while. 65536. Yeah, I tried that one, but it doesn't, we still get that dark blue. It is weird, the dark blue versus the dark yellow or whatever we had before. Not sure why those are different, but the first two sets still seem good, albeit swapped on this one. So FF00 gives us green. 00FF00 gives us blue. So far, so good. And those, to my eye, those did look like full green and full blue, like 255 green 00, and then 255 blue 00. But yeah, the FF there on the end is different. Dark blue. Still dark blue. Black-ish. Too many bits per value. Invalid bits. Nice. Oh, just invalid. Okay, yeah. And 6. 7, 5. Did I add another number? Added another number. Okay. Yeah, that's 7 is too big. 6 works. But does still give me the dark blue, not the red. I think reverse bytes should be false, maybe. Maybe assumed it should be true because it had been, but in reality it should be false. Can you add a comment into that issue if you would with your understanding as of the latest? Because I think I'm gonna head out for a bit. Is color converter converting twice? Once when instantiated and again during fill? I still don't understand. Yeah, I'm with you. I am with you. I feel like at this point I do feel closer. Like this part, I feel like I understand. Albeit a different order or whatever. And I'm on 733 right now, so this is without our fix. This is without anything else we did today in the core. So like up to here, I kind of get it. It feels like I know what it's doing and that green is just the first 2 digits. Up to here still feels like I get it. Okay, I think either it didn't refresh or we actually do still have that problem where sometimes it's different on this version. I don't know. So far it feels like first 2 digits green, next 2 digits blue. The logical conclusion would be last 2 digits red, but it doesn't work out that way. Last 2 digits are somehow blue again. But not exactly blue again, because all the way blue is actually dark blue rather than light blue. Is this teal? It is, yeah. That makes sense too. But everything except the red kind of clicks for me at this point. Or at least, like, I can see the pattern. I don't know if it's clicking in that I understand how it's supposed to operate, but I understand how it seems like to me it's supposed to operate. That was the problem. I built a version now and it looks right. Haven't tested it besides REPL. Okay. I'll comment and test more. I need to break myself too. Okay. Cool. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you diving into it. Don't think I would have got as far to understanding that without you, and understanding the next thing, turns out, as well. So I'm going to head out for now, though. I will see you all later. Hope everybody has a good day and a good rest of your weekend and all that jazz. Thanks for hanging out, and thanks again to Mark for not only the gift support stuff we worked on last night, but helping me out with this stuff here as well. Definitely appreciate it. I'll see you all later.